man. Here comes two before. Oh, now here comes two. All the twos.
You're my number two.
Take it two.
Hi, welcome to Cutscene. If you're doing this right, you're about to meet three assholes who just want to give Kotaro a big, giant hug. I'm Eric.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to Cutscene by I Beat It First. Oh my god! This fucking anime!
It's so hard to be all hyped up for such a somber experience.
God!
Yes.
Like
Everyone's horrible.
I feel like they kind of dropped the ball a little bit here in the last 3 episodes.
Mhm.
I think the cut up was good. Like each segment that we did actually worked out well for what we wanted to do it for, and they all kind of had their own arc. But introducing the new woman, which was just kind of like, oh, there's the new girl now. Okay, deal with it. She's got a weird problem that I've never heard of before, and that was just to understand a little bit more. And then we got into obviously the stuff that we knew that the mom would be dead.
Yeah.
But then that she actually was a horrible person. The dad wasn't. But then why was the dad such a horrible person later? Like it was just like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn with the dad. The mom... okay, so I think that the gloves thing is actually because the mom was sick.
Yes.
But the girl... The girl sees like the no touching thing because of her issues, as a bad thing.
Because her mom was a bitch.
Yeah, because her.
So
her
I thought
mom
sick at first too. I thought sick at first too. She was like throw them away because it could be like monkeypox or some shit all over that. So I mean, like you should get out of it. But then she went into her whole I don't want to touch you, and I was like, that seems very projecting. Like I agree with you on that. That was
that
very
one
much
was
projecting.
Mm-hmm.
But then they had the whole umbrella scene, and
the umbrella scene.
He remembered his mom not giving a shit about him, at least about the umbrellas. Like your kid's getting wet and you're just playing on your phone. It's just obviously, extrapolate what you want from that, but that's obviously what they're pulling you to see.
Yeah.
The mom didn't care.
The things that we can also kind of confer is that one, we don't know why she was on her phone. Because if she was sick and she was trying to figure things out or whatnot, that could have been one thing. But two, even though the dad does great things like what he did with Kotaro, he can still be a giant piece of shit.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so they're just muddying the waters a little bit.
Yep.
Right. I mean,
trying to show they're not entirely bad or entirely great.
That was kind of interesting on how they did that, though. That they're not 100%. Oops! I just dropped the cat on the dog.
Well, and I think that they were trying, they were trying to not make them seem like 100% pieces of shit or 100% one was the good guy, one was the bad guy. I think that they were really trying to make them feel human.
Sure. I mean, it fits more the overarching theme for this show. Is just every single parent in this anime is an absolute piece of shit.
God, yes.
Yep.
Absolutely every single one. The only parent that wasn't an absolute piece of shit was the gangster, and it's because he's trying to recover from being an absolute piece of shit.
And he's trying to make sure that his son doesn't become a piece of shit.
Right.
Like him.
Yes. Right.
Although he's not really a piece of shit. He's just a Yakuza guy. We don't necessarily
he definitely was.
He definitely at least was, yes. We know that he was not a good kid. We can infer that from all of this. So, man, this fucking anime though.
Yeah, oh yeah. The heartstrings were definitely
9 did the exact same fucking thing that episode 6 did, where they didn't even ease you into it. Episode starts.
No.
Boom. Fucking sad tale, and you go into how he's continually having to go to the dentist, and he's spending an hour plus talking with the dentist during that time, and then it all stems back to that fucking horrible story about the girl, that poor little girl that he sent away.
Girl and comes back from help.
I mean, but that's not even the sad. The really sad thing about that is that that's not entirely his jobs. entirely his
Yeah.
fault, but he's like putting all of that guilt on himself.
Right. Well, I mean, that's why a lot of dentist offices and doctors' offices have those like, hey, if you want to talk, if you're like not safe, write your name on this, usually it's like a urine sample place that I see this. So, like you write your name in red on the cup and we'll like pull you aside, get you alone. If you're fine, just write your name in black and they give you both pens and stuff like that. And they have like there's a bunch of different places, especially in the medical facilities, that will have that option where you
Yeah.
can be like, hey, who I came here with, they're just making sure I'm staying alive, but they are not, I'm being trafficked or I'm being kidnapped or anything like that, that you could definitely say and get them to leave you alone. So I
They're
mean,
trying
I
to
get
keep my
that
value
idea.
from depreciating.
Right, exactly. So I get the idea of what that was trying to spin, but you're right. It's not the dentist's responsibility. Then like, no, I'm going to sit down with these kids every single day. And I don't remember like a whole lot when I was like 4 and going to the dentist, but I remember my mom being there. Like it wasn't just like you just went into the dentist's office by yourself with the dentist and your mom sat in the waiting room. I remember my mom just sitting in the corner like while I'd get my teeth cleaned. Like
Yeah.
I don't
I
remember
still
it being
do
a separate
that.
time.
I still do that.
exactly.
I sit like across from the chair. I may be on my phone, like checking emails or even just fucking around during like the cleaning parts and whatnot. But I'm still like there and I'm watching everything that's going on and making sure that he's not moving around and going nuts and shit and answering questions for the dentist or the technicians. But at the same point, we saw parents in the lobby and there were parents calling in. The only two people that we saw without their parents were that poor little girl and Kotaro.
Yep.
So the misaligned, the abandoned, so to say, or neglected. There it is.
Neglected. Yeah, the neglected kids. And especially the fact that that little girl walked to the dentist on her own. Like she walked down there because her teeth hurt and they're like, well, you're just going to have to keep, taking your pain meds. We can't fit you in. And it's like, fuck. Like that's a little kid. So yes,
Yeah, I think the
he
other
should.
times her mom was there.
Yeah,
Was on
but
the phone or whatever.
and he should feel bad about turning her away. He shouldn't feel bad about the overall outcome that came up from it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he could
But
feel
still.
bad about not talking to them and not treating them as people. Like you could say that too, but at the same point, it's not his fault. But he took that like to heart, and then that's why he makes sure that he talks with all of the kids, especially the ones with cavities, to figure out why they're getting cavities instead of just automatically assuming that they just let them eat candy all the time and
It's tissues.
Yep.
It's the sweetened tissue paper.
Yep.
sweetened tissue paper, the good ones, the ones on the,
The good
left.
ones. Sorbitol.
So what's the thing about eating tissues? Oh yeah, you used to eat tissues. You didn't have a good home life.
But so like what you were saying, like this one very much branched out from Kotaro for quite a bit, and it was more like his influence on other people.
Right.
So like the really long, like the one with the host guy that he was in the group home with felt a little long, but ultimately was a really good redeeming story.
Mm-hmm.
And you found out that
Like, oh yeah, I knew you were lying the entire time.
yeah, and you find out at the end that like that he didn't necessarily want to. He felt, and he wasn't a bad guy. Like you automatically assumed from the first part of that story where the wallet got stolen and they had to prove that it wasn't him, that he kind of was like a bad guy, but he was actually generally a good guy. And because of his interactions with Kotaro, like he wanted to be a better person too, and put his trust in people and have faith that he's not going to get fucked over, and then he just continually got fucked over, as we've seen multiple times in multiple anime as well. Also, that's like it reminded me a lot of like some of the shenaniganery that happens in Tokyo Vice on HBO Max, which is a really good show to watch. Like there's a lot of that shit because it actually deals a lot with host clubs and whatnot in Japan in like the late 90s. Host clubs, yakuza, like a whole like systematic just horribleness that goes on.
There's like a whole game series made around that or something like that. I think, there may be, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, that I think it's actually made by the Yakuza.
Yep, it is. But this felt a little less over the top nuts. Like the show is really, really good. If you haven't watched it, Tokyo Vice on HBO Max is really, really good. But yeah, it's very much like just kind of hits home of just the fucking shadiness and bullshit of people in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, we also saw like, Kotaro's plans of just being like, yes, I want to make sounds like a group home himself to bring people back all in as a family type thing. And not so much for just his friends that he's made now, but sound like he wanted to bring more people back in. And, what made him become stronger to then be giving back to the community as seen in like a lot of what he does, like his umbrella service and all that jazz like that. It's just like, I want to give him back to the community as much as possible, which is really cool and admirable.
Mm-hmm.
And showing people that they are loved, which is, I think,
right.
I think that was like the ultimate like underbelly thing, or like not underbelly, but like underlying thing that even he didn't really like say, but it's like really like what it was is like he was showing people that they were loved. Mm-hmm. So that they knew it. Yeah, because he didn't feel loved, and like, people need that. It's a
little bit.
Yeah, and the people knew that he needed that as well, which is one of the reasons why they were all so excited to do it and be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the juxtaposition between the first couple episodes and these ones though was vast, and it's not just because he's grown, but it's just like his mentality towards his situation changed a whole lot. And I don't know if it always made sense because, like I said, I feel like these last three kind of flopped a little bit for me, especially since like the beginning of it, like I think it was the first 4 episodes when he had like having a birthday could be good. I didn't realize that there was a positiveness to me being alive. But then he would have memories about him walking with his dad and that being a positive experience. And then memories about visiting his grandparents, and going to a shopping district and stuff like that. And it's just like, these are things that's just like, if you weren't like loved or cherished in like some way, shape or form, I don't know why you would be there.
It could also be that he's not actually remembering these things. These bits and pieces could be showing us why he does the things that he does, but he may not actually be putting 2 and 2 together of them. Same thing with like the apartment from, the last batch, that he remembered that there was a spot that looked like that particular spot at his apartment. He didn't remember any of the circumstances around it. He didn't remember where it was or anything like that. He just remembered that it was there. And then they found it, and then it was even worse than what we thought, and it was like in the corner in the fucking closet.
Butterfly in the corner of the closet. Yeah, you're hiding. Yeah, good job. Well, I mean, okay, well, I get that a lot, but I mean, like, then why was it still a happy memory with his dad? Because it's not like because he would call the person his mentor. He was just like, my mentor did this, and it's just like cool. And then his memory was just like, it's of my dad.
But it may not have been a memory though. Like again, it could have been just the anime showing us why, like, and he may not necessarily be remembering. And the same thing with referring to his dad as his mentor. Like, maybe those 2 people, or well, that person, those 2 sides of him are 2 completely different people to him.
I see what you're saying.
Like,
so
the good, nice one is his mentor, and then his dad is a piece of shit. His dad is
my
the crazy
father,
one.
my asshole, my monster, and then my mentor, my dad, and my friend. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Especially since we still don't know the dad's circumstance. I mean, we called the mom being dead. That just added.
Well, we knew that because that's the circumstances for the money and everything like that. Like, we knew it, but the fact that that he hadn't noticed that at the gravesite yet. But he is getting to the age where he can read and everything. Was that the first time cleaning it?
That was the first time there, yeah. Because remember, he didn't remember how to get there. And that's why I asked Komuro, whatever his name is, to be like, hey, can you help me get out there? And then the best scene of him being like, you overslept and I'm pissed at you.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one.
Well, on the morrow.
It goes into the insecurities of people So when you first meet with somebody, everything's fucking sunshine and rainbows. I mean, like you make a new friend or anything like that, everything's fucking great. And then as time goes on, that's when you get more comfortable with each other and you start voicing the problems that you're having and stuff like that with them or anything like that. And you're no longer always happy, which is a good thing for him, especially for him to be able to vocalize the issues that he has with them, because he wouldn't do that before.
Yeah. How about what's his name's like ex-girlfriend just showing up and like
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna take
and then
him home.
immediately being like a bossy girlfriend again. It was just like, Jesus, girl, what are you doing here?
Well, that was like, I got real weird vibes on that because it didn't seem like she wanted to be with him anymore.
No, she was there because she got in a fight with her current
Well, yeah,
boyfriend.
but I mean, like throughout that whole thing, it kind of felt like she had his best interests at heart, but not really. Like it was real hard to like pinpoint what her motive was in that.
What I got from it was just like she was probably trying to change him in the past, being like, "Come on, you got to think about your career. You got to build something." He was being lazy, like he would be a mangaka and stuff like that, and she left him for that, I bet. And then when she came back, saw that he was working again, she's like, "I did that. I'm gonna like continue to push on him because I do still want him," and fell into like an old role type thing. That's the way I read into that.
Which makes sense. Like that does make sense going with when she said like you're the reason.
Yes.
Like
That's
never
why
actually
she apologized.
vocalizing that I thought I was the reason behind it, but you're the reason why, and everything that he's doing with you is the reason why. Yeah, and apologizing to him, which is good, and that was good for her to apologize to him as well.
Yeah, very big of her, but then she dips out after that.
Yep. Like,
Yeah, then
well, I
she's
guess he doesn't
gone.
need me.
Which like again, in that words, like I don't really feel like she had like any romantic feelings for him. Like it was genuine, like trying to make sure that he was doing well type set, which then helps solidify that by her just like going, okay, I'm not needed anymore, I'll leave.
Well, I mean, it was obvious that she wasn't there for any other reason than just to get out of her current living situation, and whoever knows how long the time jump was between the episodes.
Well, it would be long enough for him to write a mini series, so it'd be a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And at that point, like I would think that like she could have found a place to go to other than that, because she said it was only going to be like a couple of days, but then stuck around thinking that he needed her help.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she didn't, like she found out she did, and she's like, okay, well, I'm just going to leave then.
Super weird, though. Super weird. And then we never hear anything about his mangaka again, or the miniseries.
Well, we might hear about it in like the next season or whatever within that, because that ended like that was like right there. That was the end of the series basically. Like they had the one more episode, but that was still like that was still filling in like other things, and you write it, then it's got to get animated, then it's got to get produced and all that stuff for it. So there's extra time within it.
Sure. I mean, yeah, last episode was just them going out to visit the graves. But yeah, I don't know.
And finding out for certain that mom is dead. We still don't know how she died. I'm still banking on that she was sick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's like she was definitely depressed and didn't want to like deal with the kid because she's dying. And so I get that. And that would explain also why the dad's lashing out in some way, shape, or form, because he's pissed off about whatever. And maybe that's what have made the grandparents take away custody in some way, shape, or form, and why the dad would have been pissed. And maybe he wasn't just an abusive asshole. Who knows?
Maybe. However, your motives and the reason for you being angry can still make you an abusive asshole.
Well, of course. Of course. I mean,
so
we haven't gotten there about him being abusive to Kotaro. He could have easily just been abusive to the wife or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
kid was hiding in the fucking closet. So, I mean, it's just like, there's definitely not right things going on. I'm not trying to advocate for the dad at all. I'm just saying like, there's way more to this than what we've seen. And it feels unfinished as it is.
I feel like with everything that's going on with the dad, that it's not going to be something as cut and dry as like he beat them.
No. I don't
Like
think it will be either.
I think it's gonna be something more along the lines of the kid that was really good at soccer. That
Oh.
mom yelled at him all the time about being dumb. Dad yelled at him all the time about being dumb and how he could never do anything right. And then they just fought all the time. And as soon as he heard any yelling, he just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't handle. And Kotaro did say, "Hey, someone did this for me in the past." So I
Yeah.
mean, it was very true. And then like his neurotic tendencies when he first got into the group home started tearing apart the pillow. I mean, the kid is not adjusted well, at this point in time.
No.
So I mean, there's definitely much more going on with the house than we know about. And so much that he's still in protected services. Like Dad's not around because he's not wanting to be around. He tried to find him,
Yeah.
but he's in a protected services type thing. So I mean, it's definitely there's way more to it that's more nefarious than what we see.
Right.
But it's still a very unfortunate situation. Did you guys watch the end credits on this one
Yes.
on 10?
Yeah,
10
we
had
watched
actual end
through
credits.
until Netflix ended it.
Because they actually did like wrap up some things there. Like
Yeah.
you saw the redheaded girl, like sitting on a beach somewhere, and she's like, "I'm fine, I didn't die." All of his friends coming over and having supper, seeing the Yakuza guy with his son, being like, "Hey, this is a day for me, so I get to hang out with him." That was kind of cool.
Yep.
So that it did solidify more that you're only seeing the Yakuza on the days he doesn't have his son because he's hanging out with his son.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so it's just like
Yeah.
and of course any other time he's lamenting not being with his kid, and I thought that was really cool for him to be like, hey, as much as I want to hang out with him, he can't break the rules. That was cool.
Yep.
I mean, it was just like, yeah,
That was
Even
kinda
though the
weird.
mom 100% broke the rules, which is fucking bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
She completely broke the rules of custody, telling him that the kid didn't want to see him at all. And then the kid's like, "No, I want to see you. Mom was lying." And he's like, I understand, but you can't break the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
You're
it's
gonna
it's
get
right
in
up there
more
with teaching the
trouble.
kid 2 wrongs don't make a right, and yada yada yada. But still, like, that's just fucked. And that just goes to show just how fucking toxic some people can be in a divorce.
yeah.
Some people will
Very.
do anything they can to fuck with the other person, even if it ends up hurting the kid, which is just wrong. It's just
And one thing is,
bullshit.
how did Kotaro not know whose son he was? Because he's exactly like the Yakuza guy.
He does, except with blonde hair.
even with the like typical Yakuza mannerisms, like like head back, looking down at somebody, like sneer. It was just like like spot on anime Yakuza character. It was great.
That was really good. The other so I'm drawing a blank right now on episode 8. On everything
was
that
just the
happened
start-
in 8.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that was with the new girl coming in, being like, "I don't
Yes.
like kids. I don't like being around kids. I'm so nervous." And
Oh
then
yeah,
the start
that's
of-
what we didn't talk about.
Yeah, it
was
was like,
was
hey,
that.
it's so easy for you to say that everyone looks at me kind of weird because I'm a woman and I'm supposed to be good with kids.
It's just
Like,
She
true.
was a
Like, and I
pointless
don't, so
character
I'm
to me.
trying to
She was a
get that
pointless.
over with.
I did not care for her. I didn't need, like her
Yeah.
arc was both annoying and boring. When Kotaro got fat, that was more funny than a telling tale of him being like, "I have food, so I'm gonna eat it." Like it was just like,
Yeah, which
I don't
we
care.
kind of
Well-
because he ate tissues.
Yeah, well, and she helped with pinpointing everything because none of the other kids, like nobody ever asked anything. The teacher never asked or anything like that, and she saw the kids giving him all the extra food and never once asked anything. So I don't
It's
think
like,
she was
"Are you
entirely
hungry?"
pointless.
He's like, no. But there's food.
Right. I mean, no. I
Have
mean,
to
like
eat it.
not narratively, there was a reason to have a character do all that, but
Yes.
I still don't see why. Like, I think it would have been just as easier or beneficial to the story to write the redhead back in rather than trying to bring in someone brand new.
Well, yes and no. Okay, so it also goes with just how life is. People will come and go in your life all the time. Like you're not going to be like best of friends with everybody, and it actually like we may have at one point just gone like, why has nobody moved into that other apartment?
Yeah.
And if they're assholes, why do we not know this? And I think that it kind of speaks a little bit more to like he's got like that magnetism that even though like she hates kids and she is super uncomfortable around them and whatnot, she still wants to try.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved at the end when she was like, okay, maybe this isn't so bad. It's not too bad. And then Kotaro just yells out, I have a new game. Let's chase her. And then all the kids chase her. It's like,
Oh,
it's like her
God, no.
fucking nightmare. But all in all, it was a really good anime.
It was a
Yes.
great anime. Like I am
Really good.
really upset on how much I liked it, because when I first, like, if you pull it up on Netflix and you look at like the first image that they have there, I'm just like, this anime is gonna be bullshit. I have zero desire. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck did you pick out here for us, Chris? I am just like, I have no desire to watch this bullshit and stuff like that. Then the first like 2 second, like you know how Netflix is, you can't go 2 seconds being silent browsing Netflix. And like hearing the kid talk, I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna be cringe.
This is
gonna be
Mitsubishi
horrible.
colors all over again.
I don't want to see this. I am not motivated. And then you know they smack you with the feels and they don't stop. The feels don't stop coming and
At
they don't
all.
stop coming, man. And
At
I
all.
was just,
Never a breather.
Enamored. And immediately enamored. And in that first 4 episodes, and then like every 3, I was just like, yeah, I need to know more of what's going on with this fucked up kid's life. And yeah, it was.
I kind
it was
of-
very interesting.
I kind of feel like we almost do it a disservice by watching it in blocks the way that we do, because like we're just getting hammered about how depressing it is, but it might not feel as bad if we watched like 1 episode a week as it came out, you know.
I could see that. But I mean, some of them was just like they would end so depressingly, and then the next episode would spin up and it'd be okay. But then other ones would spin up so depressingly right away.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, you know.
It's like, because we're just continually going, man. And by the end of the last episodes, every time we were watching, I'm just like, fuck, what the fuck is going on? Why?
Oh, and then we heard and then there's the whole thing about the T-shirt, the God shirts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Corny
God shirts. That part, which, like, okay, so we were talking about it when we watched it. I'm like, that makes sense, like why he wears the shirts all the time. And Chris is like, well, no, you know, they're wearing the, like, he wears shirts all the time. I'm like, no, but like he has so many of them. He has like a big ass bag of those shirts, which explains everything. And I kind of hope that we see that fashion designer again. Like if another season comes up, I'm like, I want to see this fashion designer. Like that was really cool. That whole thing though, man, where like he just immediately is like, your sweater's dirty. You should have your mom clean it. You know what? Actually, I'm just gonna clean it. Here, give me, and then cleans it himself. And then he just keeps coming back day after day. And even though he's mildly miffed that he was knocking on other people's doors, he's still like, that other shirt, or that shirt that I was getting, they're all coming tomorrow. You want to come see? Like he was still like, he still wanted him to come. And then like it almost didn't even need that part where his friend is like, dude, that kid is like depressed.
Yeah.
He's neglected.
I mean, they had that whole part where it's just like, yeah, signs of a neglected kid of knocking on strangers' doors and stuff like that. And it's just like if anything, this kind of echoes your point of the magnetism that Kotaro has. And then, you know, the great character design that they had here. You know, the only one that I didn't like was the new girl. Other than that, I love this guy. I thought he was like fantastic on his mentality. Just like, I'm going to clean your shit. I'm a fashion designer. I want to make sure your clothes look good. And also that random kid who I don't know, whatever. We're going to take care of you. Who cares? I'm going to listen to you on your ideas about t-shirts, even though I'm a designer. You say, you random 3-year-old, 4-year-old at the time, say my things corny. All right, well, we'll change it up and stuff like that. So, you know, it was really interesting, the design of it all. And the friend had to be there because they needed to have a character with a mini top hat. I mean, that was just like,
and
that was a drunk bet.
It was a mini top hat and a tiny cape. It was a tiny cape too, like that. It was like a cape made for like a really fat like 6-year-old, so that it was like it had enough girth to go completely around that guy's shoulders, but it literally only came up to like here. It barely came down his arms.
It's called fashion, Eric.
Yeah, what says fashion? Top hat. No, this isn't the 1920s. Miniature. Genius.
Tilted to the side.
Intricate.
Tilted to the side. Hairpin top hat. You got this. We
Oh
got
my
this.
god, yeah, it was so great. And that's, I mean, they do a good job of adding in a little bit of humor here and there, but man, the last 3 episodes were very lax on humor and very much just a lot of like espresso depresso.
Yeah.
But in a good way. In a good
information.
way.
Well, we got more information. We have a little. We have obviously we knew the mom was dead, but we had a little bit more of like it was mysteriously dying to Kotaro. Even if she was super sick, I feel like he would remember hotel or not hotels, hospitals a little bit more. So obviously she was sick, but not like in hospice care or in and out of the hospital frequently. It was kind of more like it's definitely happening. Like so,
Or
prostate cancer or something
he
like
just
that, but-
never went. Like they could have just never. Like there are instances where like the kids never go and the parents hide it from the kids so that they don't get scared from that. So part
Sure.
of the neglectingness could be
Yeah.
that she was in the hospital all the time.
She was in the hospital, depressed all the time. Dad was an asshole, not present. He had to eat tissues all the time because of it. He doesn't remember any of that. He just remembers being sad. Parents didn't come home, whatever, argue the entire time. He hides in the closet, scared of what's going on. Everything changes, and suddenly his mom's gone, doesn't understand why, and he has to be sent to a group home.
Because dad's a fucking piece of work.
Dad's a fucking piece
Dad's
of
a
work. I think
piece
they're
of
still setting it up though that it could be that the dad did kill, and he's just hasn't been he was acquitted or he couldn't be convicted or whatever and stuff like that. Like we that door's not closed. It's
Mhm.
Can we just
because
close
she
that
did
door though? I
die.
don't want that door to be open.
We don't know. We don't know
I do not want that door to come open. Like that's just
because it's got to be more than just him being a neglectful father as to the reason why he's got a can't see your son type thing. Got to
Yeah.
be more.
Mm-hmm.
man, it's
Or something.
Or something.
don't.
It's definitely bad.
Yeah.
Because they give kids back to parents that are absolute pieces of shit all the time. So there's just got to be a reason that they're fearful for the kid's life that they can't give the kid back to the dad, especially if the dad is like, I'm here and attentive and wanting to find my son. Like, it's not like he's hiding or is, like,
True.
mysterious, like he is like, I do want to find my son. I've called the group homes to try to find him. I hired a private investigator. Like, it's not a secret that they're doing it, and everyone knows we don't want your dad to know. So it's just like, all right, well, there's only a few
God,
reasons
yeah.
why we don't want a dad to know.
Wait.
And then there's the whole newspaper thing too.
Wait,
Yeah,
did
that he doesn't like. So how? That's probably
Daft
how his
Boy
mom
Trunks
died.
has
So
just
maybe
raided the
he already
stream
knows
with
that his
10
mom is
viewers.
dead. In that,
Hide your
And
the
I mean,
dad
he
kill the
picks up on-
grandparents?
He picks up on a lot of different things.
yeah,
So it's like, how would he not know this?
the newspaper could also be with the grandparents. That someone finally discovered a dead body in some way, shape, or form because newspapers were piling up, and that's why he says, "Hey, if newspapers are piling up for more than a few days, check on me because that's
Okay,
usually
yeah.
means someone's dead."
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that's a very small thing, but it's like I wonder if maybe maybe the dad killed the grandparents too.
Maybe. I mean, but he's out. Like he's not.
But he said the grandparents were dead before he was born.
Were they dead before
He
was
did
born?
say that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did say before born, or at least he never met them. But he did say before born. You're
Mhm.
right, Chris.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else like horrible the
I mean,
the
it
dad
has to
could
be
have done.
abusive. It has to be abusive in some way, shape, or form, or they haven't been able to put the finger on him yet that she died or someone died mysteriously, having to do with being discovered. Like he has a great alibi and he's still person of interest. Remember, Kato's 4, so this could be still like just happened like a year ago, barely,
True.
and it could just still be an ongoing investigation, and that's why they're keeping him hidden. Witness protection type thing.
That's very true.
And so that would then coincide a little bit more with the dad being like at least a dad at the very beginning, and then something snapping. Now, obviously around with the illness or whatever was causing the depression with the mom, and them having their bouts, because he did argue. There's definitely a lot of that where, you know, Kotaro had to like be told that everything was okay, him hiding in the closet all the time, you know, neglected child eating the napkin. So there was problems for sure, whatever that was. And now the mom is dead and the dad can't be involved anymore because of court order. So it's definitely, yeah, I'm not closing that door, Eric. I'm not closing that door.
I don't want those doors to be open. It's just so fucking depressing.
The next season is going to open up with Kotaro meeting a very good friend, who then confesses to him that he's actually from the future and he came back in time to solve Kotaro's murder. Erased too. This is the offshoot. That's how they get you. Full circle.
Oh man.
Erase X Kotaro.
Kotaro cases.
Oh god.
Kotaro files.
All right.
That's right. That's right. I love
let's,
it.
Let's
I
score
forget.
it. Chris, you chose it, so you'll go last. I'll go first, since I got next pick. Fuck. This is like a 9.5. This is a solid fucking anime.
It's really
good storytelling. You may not like one of the characters, but you know what? You're not going to like all the characters. Animation's weird, but it really grows on you, and it fits the tone of the anime really, really well. And God, just really, really good storytelling throughout. Some of them are really short little things. Some of them are really long ones, like the whole friend from the group home piece that was like a shit ton of like screen time on it. But man, it was solid. It was really good. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 9.5 out of 10.
I'll mimic that a little bit of just solid character building. I mean, the amount of character building that was in this anime that was completely indirect. Like they didn't go into like a lot of the story about any of the characters, but you feel like you know a little bit more about them than some characters that they talk about nonstop, you know, and stuff like that. Like I feel like I understand more about the Yakuza guy than I do about Aqua from Konosuba, because they don't, you know, it's just like that's not the point of that anime. I get it, but it's just like for example, like this guy wasn't number one character, but it's just like I know more about him and who he is as a person than I do about some other main characters in other anime that are out.
Also
there. So,
care
I mean,
about
it's definitely.
him.
I also care about him. Yeah, who gives a shit about Aqua? That worthless god. Anyway, I agree with a lot of this. I think that though that all that aside, I think that it's kind of different on how it's indirect storytelling and indirect in the problem solving and indirect in all the stuff. So I like the writing of that style, but at the same time, I'm still sitting here wanting a lot more and wishing that there was more to this anime, especially in the last 3 episodes. I felt like that there never was that arc or that like what are we getting to. It's just all just build up, and that's fine. I think that's part of the charm of this, but for me it takes it down a little bit, because it's just like, well, what did I really do here? And so I definitely want more. Hope there is a second season. If not, then I'm really just kind of sitting here with, you know, balls in my hand, I guess. I don't know what to say about it. So I'm going to say 8.9 out of 10, because it was right there, but just it just stumbled just right before greatness for me. So I'll go with that.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, and kind of going off of saying about character development for the characters, kind of reminds me of like the first Fulukuli, where there's like 6 episodes, but he had so much character development in that short little span, and it's just like, yeah, you care about all these characters. Maybe not so much the new girl, but like the I mean, she's got a little bit, but she not too much. She didn't really get into her too much, but she still had some character development. There's still, you know, some of the backstory you don't read,
because she changed.
Yeah.
She grew.
She changed a little bit, and you got into some of her, you know, why she doesn't like the gloves. Which also, I thought that was kind of a good scene too. Just kind of showing his like little museum thing, and it's like, oh, this is the picture of him. These are the band-aids I drew on for him.
The dirty used band-aids.
You didn't have some misty eyes in that scene, man. You're not human.
This is the
and his little outfit.
When we went to the mall.
His little outfit that he wore too to show off to show off his museum. I was just like, oh my god,
so adorable,
so adorable. Well, what's the score, Chris?
I need to keep these gloves. Score, I would probably say 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Solid.
It's a
a solid anime.
fucking anime. I
Solid.
loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. So to go on what you were saying, Jason, I didn't feel like a letdown at the end of like no conclusion, because just like everybody's childhood issues and trauma, it's gonna be an ongoing thing. Like this
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like I knew that I knew going into it, I'm like, there's no way they're gonna wrap any of this up, like at all within it. There's still gonna be problems. So I was perfectly fine with the ending as is. Like, so it's just like I knew that there wasn't gonna be anything there.
Well, and I get the part about it, like, hey, that's part of life and stuff like that. But I'm watching this to be engrossed in characters, and the only one that I felt like that had a real like solid like roundabout, even like though it's not ending, was the Yakuza guy. Just because, just like, yes, I do have a relationship with my son, and it's okay. It's just I'm holding ourselves to the rules, and that was kind of like, okay, good. You know, there's still problems there, obviously, but at least we had a sum up. I mean, shit, even the redheaded had a little bit more of a ending there. Just even like a 2-second scene of her being at the beach, being like, I'm still alive. It was just like, okay, good. At least that's nice. But everything else was just kind of like, there was so much that was like said and done, and the getting stronger together, and it just felt, yeah, you did. You did. 10% stronger, I guess, every single day. I get it, but this isn't life. This is still an anime, and I still would like to have had
Written like any
little bit
solid
extra.
series, as if there's going to be a sequel, and you
Yeah.
just hope to God that
Yep.
there is one, because it didn't end. It wouldn't have ended the way that, like, you know, anybody would have wanted it to end if it was a single season for certain. But man,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So good choice, Chris. Solid one. Knocked it out of the park in both a good and a bad way. All right, so our next one that we're going to watch is available on Crunchyroll. This one came out, it was in the holiday? No, I think it's fall of 2021, and it is Sakugan. One day in the distant future, humans live shoulder to shoulder in colonies separated by rock. Outside the colonies, a dangerous, undeveloped area called the Labyrinth is expanding. Those who risk their lives to develop the Labyrinth, who mark out the undeveloped areas, are known as markers. A young girl, Memempu, who wants to be a marker one day, and a man, Gagumber, who used to be one. This mismatched father and daughter now take on the Labyrinth. If there's no path, dig one. Okay, so I watched the first episode of it. Hilariously enough, like at like the very opening sequence, I was like, this feels like it's like Made in Abyss, but like in like the future of Made in Abyss, because it's the same like mild premise where they're in like a dug in area and they're excavating stuff, but it's mecha and all sorts of stuff moving on. But I liked the way that the first episode ended off. I was like, I'm not going to watch anymore, because it's like, I think that this would be a good one for us to watch. And we all know that Jason's been itching for any type of mecha.
I want a good mecha, man. I want a good mecha.
So
I've been wanting for a while.
yeah, so hopefully this one will be a solid one. For those listening, Bulldog, who is one of the I Beat It First guys, says that he gave it an 8.5 out of 10. By the way, for Kotaro, not for Sakugan, because he hasn't watched that yet either. But yeah, so we're gonna be watching that. So next episode, not next week's episode, is going to be episodes 1 through 4 of Sakugan. So we hope you guys are here for it. All right, Jason.
Is it back to a 12 episode?
It's back to a 12 episode piece. So we are good to go on our standard one. We are going to be watching 4 episodes at a time. Thank God that Kotaro was, 3 episodes, because some of those bouts, like at the end of 3, I was like, I'm done. I can't take any more depression today.
I'm all out of depression. I'm all out of tears.
It was actually like, I think I got to the end of episode 2 in the first block, and I was like, can we be done? Can we be done? Nope, we still got 2 more episodes to watch. Shit.
God damn it.
But all in a good way, again. All right, Jason. Blog, roll us out.
Cool beans. Hey guys, hey you. If you're listening, yes, you. If you're watching us, you too. Guess what? We love you. We appreciate you spending some time with us, albeit even if it's a poor choice. Who are we? We are I Beat It First. You may have heard of us from ibeatitfirst.com or our other podcast that we do, which is called I Beat It First. We are nerds who like to do everything that we can do about video games, nerd stuff, tech, anime. You got it. What you're listening to right now, if you are brand new to this, is our anime podcast where we watch a small batch anime, usually single season anime, and then we discuss them like a bunch of fucking nerds that we are and having fun with it. And sometimes we watch really great animes like this one that we just finished up, and other times we watch some that are not so great. Usually we tear it apart and have a lot of fun with it. So it's good fun right there. If you like what we're doing or don't like what we're doing, you can email us anything at ibeatitfirst.com, be it Chris, Jason, Eric at ibeatitfirst.com, cutscene at ibeatitfirst.com. You guys suck at ibeatitfirst.com. It doesn't matter. We would love to hear from you. Email us. Tell us what you think about this anime, our past animes, which animes you should watch in the future. If we're doing this all wrong, if we're, wasting our lives, all of it, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk to you and find out what we can do. Please notice us, senpai. While you are emailing us, please be sure to check out our website, ibeatitfirst.com. It has all of our news about our entire network of podcasts available for you. That's right, we have an entire network. That is three network podcasts that we do, which is obviously this one that you're listening to with anime, our I Beat It First main podcast, which is where we talk about video games and tech stuff, and then we also have our Patch Notes podcast, which is a little bit more special run, where we pull aside indie devs for small games that they're making and talk to them about pretty much anything but their game, and then a little bit about their game. Everyone asks what a game developer is doing. We're the only ones that ask how is a game developer doing, and so it's a lot of fun to actually listen to those and get into the inside mind of what are some of these creative geniuses behind a lot of the great games that are out there. Obviously, if you're here with us on Twitch, welcome on in. We do live stream Twitch or podcast every Monday, usually trying to do Monday nights whenever we possibly can do of all three different of our podcast ones out there. We also are regular streamers. Eric and Chris are fantastic streamers that do stuff pretty much almost every single day of the week. I do them when I am heavily pressured to do it or don't feel like being lazy, which is rare at the same time.
Very rare
That's
that
okay.
you don't feel like being lazy.
They're much better and more entertaining than I ever could be. With that, also you can of course follow us on Twitch, just twitch.tv/ibeatitfirst. Any of your social medias, it's ibeatitfirst or ibeatitfirst.com. You can also find us, of course, on your podcast wherever you listen to podcasts of choice. Where I think we're on Amazon, we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on all the major ones, and we're doing great. Thanks for asking. And please, by all means, like and subscribe us with all that other bullshit that people love to say, and we'll be happy to do that. We're also giant advocates for charity, where we push really hard for Child's Play and pushing into with Phoenix
Extra
Children's
Life,
Hospital.
not Child's
Extra
Play.
Life. I keep saying Child's Play every single time. I even have the wristband on to remind
It
myself.
says Extra Life
forget
on
it.
his wrist right now, and he's like,
It says it right
Child's
now. It's right there
Play.
on my face. I just wanna say it. But we're big for Child's Play. Oh my god. I
Oh
just
my
fucking
god,
did it again.
dude.
We're big on Extra Life. We are massive people that love to
games,
donate
help
to everything
kids.
we can with Phoenix
Kids.
Children's Hospital. We do everything we can to volunteer with them as well. I think we were just at Game On Expo as well, working the Extra Life booth. Good job,
Chris did
for
that all weekend long. Volunteered
All
his time to
weekend
work
long.
the
Yep.
Extra Life booth.
Which
That's really cool
kind
stuff.
of pulls on your heartstrings too when you kind of have some people come like, oh yeah, Phoenix Children saved my 7-year-old son. I was like,
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, yeah.
That's
I went there when I was a
freaking
kid because I had cancer.
for the kids, man.
For the kids.
So I mean, like, please check out our charities on with everything that we do with Extra Life. You can find that on our Twitch, obviously, by doing anything !charity. But you can also find it information on our website about that. While you're also thinking about that, if you don't want to do anything monetary or anything like that, I get that. We also have one of the first and only charity throne accounts where you can actually buy items for children at PCH. Anything that's on our throne account is not coming to us for us whatsoever. It actually will go straight to Phoenix Children's Hospital for them to use for their, like, hey kid, why don't you pick out a prize out of the prize box and maybe bring some sunshine to your day, because nobody's hanging out at Phoenix Children's Hospital for fun. I promise you that. And it's definitely a way for us to kind of give back more to the kids, because honestly, if we can all be hanging out and playing games, we have it 10 times better than these kids do. So check that out by, of course, again, again, checking out our Throne in Twitch, but you can go there from our website at ibeatitfirst.com/throne, or just again navigate to the charity section of our website, and you'll find more information in there of how to navigate to that information for you. I love these guys for wanting to do it. You know, I think it's fantastic that we do that. I don't normally like to go all preachy about it, but it is. Like, there's nothing better than for kids, really, at the end of the day, especially after watching this fucking anime.
Yeah.
Give to kids so that we don't have this situation. It's ridiculous.
Right?
So yeah, love it all. Be sure find us on all your socials. Let us know what you're talking about. I think that about sums us all up. Eric, anything I forgot that you want to mention too?
Nope, that is it. Thanks a lot, Jason. Again, remember, we are watching Sakugan, which you can find on Crunchyroll, both sub and dub on there as well, so whichever one you guys want to watch. We're going to be doing episodes 1 through 4. But, without further ado, Chris?
Bye-bye!
All right, we're going to raid out into Hemorrhage 5150, because she is awesome and we very rarely ever get to raid out to her. But thanks a lot, everybody, and we will see you guys in a day or two. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Boom.